All right, we are out here with Leo, and since it's such a beautiful day outside, we're definitely going to try to practice out here and start to definitely work on some of his known behaviors. Sits down, place. You can start to work on that out and about and outside around some distractions. He's offering me behavior because he's so sweet and smart. So today we're going to introduce the heel position, stationary, and start talking about how we add in movement later on. So we call this position right here where we're looking at one another basic position. So and just to kind of divert for a second, obviously he's a very active guy. He doesn't do well with coping with periods of time, no thank you, where we're not doing anything. So while I'm talking or while you're trying to listen, he's actively offering behaviors and trying to push me to give him reinforcement or attention. So I want to make sure that I kind of withhold that stuff, and not to be a jerk or not to be mean, but make sure that he doesn't self-reinforce, so he doesn't get access to the things that he's looking for with that type of behavior. So we kind of want to make sure that's a brick wall. So even though it's really sweet that he's offering behavior and he wants to work and he's eager, which I like, I'm just going to make sure I'm not accidentally reinforcing pushy behavior, so that leads to demand barking and jumping and nipping and all that kind of stuff. So now that we're kind of settled, again, we call this basic position. So he's facing me and I'm facing him. I'm going to use a food lure, and I'm going to pick which side I'd want him to heel on. So I'm going to choose the left-hand side. I do like to train dogs to heel on the left, but you can definitely train them to do right side or both. Just make sure that you pick one side for each training session. So for today, I'm going to pick the left side. Because I want him on the left, I'm going to have my leash in the right hand, and I'm going to have my clicker layered in on top of that, and I'm going to have the food in my left. I'm going to bring that food right to his nose and take a large lunge backwards with my left leg. I'm going to reach all the way behind me, flip my food lure. Whoops, I lost you because I was doing it in slow motion, huh? Lunge backwards, reach back, flip, and bring him right to the side of my body. And I'm going to have him get into a sitting position if I can with that food lure. I don't want to say the word SIT while he's there. Real quick, I just want to make sure my camera is still running before we get too far. Perfect. Hopefully my microphone is working. Excellent. So I don't want to use the word SIT, because if I tell him to sit, I'd expect him to do that when I take a step out. When I start walking away from him, I'd expect him to maintain that and stay there. And obviously that's not what we're looking for. So when we teach heel, we build in an automatic sit. Sorry, I just said it and he probably thinks that's what I'm talking about. But we want to build in that, what we call that auto sit. So that means if I'm stationary, you sit. And then we walk forward together. And when I stop, you sit. And with heeling, it means maintain this bubble, go when I go, and sit when I stop until I release you. And that's the criteria for heel. So we're building that for him by showing him what that looks like. Good. So I want to make sure I'm having him right at the side of my body. Where I feed him is what he's going to associate with this behavior. So right here where he breaks, I'm going to start using my no reward marker and add pressure to that no reward marker until he's correct again. So we usually start off with using food as the pressure. So I'm going to, when I use food as the pressure, it's going to look like I'm food luring him back into that position, but when I'm using it as a pressure, I do not feed him. We don't want him to learn to make a mistake and then get back into position and then get fed. And the pressure is just what we're using to get him back into being correct again. So we're going to start over here. We're going to start off in basic position. And then we're going to get him into the heel that we're looking for. Very nice. Good. As soon as he's in that position, now we're going to use a high rate of, so he broke. So I'm going to say, and I'm going to use that food as a pressure to get him right where I want him, but I'm not going to feed him. Good. Good. Nice. Now I'm feeding him. Good. Good. Perfect. And I'm going to release him before he makes another mistake. So a couple things. The way he's breaking is he's shifting his bum out to the side. And so he's facing me, and we're kind of making like the letter L here. And the reason that happens is because dogs kind of think in pictures, and he's used to the picture of seeing the front of my body and the front of my face. And now I'm asking him to kind of face the same, good boy, to face the same direction as me. And now he's seeing the side of my face and the side of my body, and that's just a little bit different for him. So we need to spend some time having what we call a high rate of reinforcement while he's in that position we want him in, to make sure that he gets some experience as that being a very rewarding place to be. So because he has the inclination to kind of want to scoot out and see the front of our face, we need to spend some time here making sure that we reinforce him right where we want him to be, and make sure that we release him on our terms and he doesn't release himself. So we're going to do that a couple times. Heel. We can start to introduce the word we want for this exercise. Good. 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 Nice. Perfect. I can release him with my release word or the clicker. I do like to use the clicker when we're in the learning phases and the acquisition phase of learning. It just helps accelerate learning and make things more likely to happen in the next rep. Heel. So I've kind of omitted that backwards lunge because he doesn't need all that anymore. I can kind of become more subtle with my food lure. Oops, but he's starting to back up. Good. 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 Now I'm going to feed him. Good. Perfect. Nice. Well, he's doing really good with that. Like I said, he just needs lots of repetitions of what that should look like and being exactly where we want him. And that's going to help him be clear as to what heel means. So if he's having a hard time with loose leash walking right now and heeling, it's most likely because we haven't taught it to him yet. So we need to make sure that he learns this position and where he should be. And then we'll start to add motion to that, and that should start to connect the pieces for him. Good job, Leo.